evening and welcome back to the First Time Homebuyer Show. I am your host, Esti Klaassen. As you know, we have absolutely amazing content coming to you every day this week. We have Zamantungwa Kumalo with the Private Property Podcast at 7 p.m. where we talk about the technicalities, what it is you need to know and what you should not do when it comes to investing and buying your first home. And of course, we have Mbali, who is on the Farming Podcast. That's every Tuesday and Thursday. Are you ready to double your fingers into some farming and agriculture? Well, that show is for you. And of course, Chad Viveros is on your screens every Monday night and Friday with the Home Shopper Show. Chad travels around South Africa looking at magnificent mansions, beautiful apartments, and this is perfect for you if you're looking for your perfect home. And without further ado, I'm joined with the amazing Lehlohonolo, Lebelo, a journey on how he saw his mother coming to a retirement and how he wanted to continue to feed and build the generational wealth by investing in property. Good evening, Lehlohonolo. How are you?
Hi Esti, how are you? Wow, that's an introduction. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's your introduction. That's what you carry, and that's amazing. I want to find out a little bit more about your journey. You know, we just told the viewers that your mother retired. And what was it? What happened at that point in your life where you were like, no, she still needs to continue earning some sort of income passively?
Yeah. My real estate journey started in 2015, as you said, when my mom retired. But that's not where I started my interest in real estate. So I think I read my first real estate book in 2006, 2007, but didn't have the means to go into property. I was actually looking for a way in. So 2015, when my mom retired, I've been exposed to a lot of people who, after they get that package, a person will spend money for a good 9 months. After that, the 10th month, you don't have an income. So when she retired because of her health, I went to her and said, listen, I'm actually looking to go into property and you need a passive income. So why don't we collaborate, see what we can do. I'll manage and see if this is something that I want to go into. And yeah, that's where it started, and after that, that's where everything started.
And ever since, it was obviously a good journey, and you're still in that business, and you're still, and I'm sure that there were certain challenges that came with it, especially in the beginning, you know, trying to convince, especially like our mothers or our grandmothers, to use this money for something that they're not actually educated on per se, where we have a little bit more, even whether it was to read a book or to have shows like this, get advice from people like you. What was her first instinct to your idea?
It was a good no.
Oh, really?
You can't do that. You need to work for your own money. Can't give you my money. What am I going to do? You know, I think she didn't understand the concept of passive income, having, you know, when you get that lump sum, you don't think about 9 months later, you don't think about a year after, you know. I think for her it was, I need to make this money stretch, you know, because she retired early, because she was sick, you know. So I had to convince her, but she knew this was something because it's something we always talked about, you know, at the dinner table. This is what I want. I'm interested in this. Have you seen that there's a new unit that's available? And she knew I didn't have the funds to do it. But when I actually approached her, she was like, this is a test, and you know that if you fail, this will actually be bad on me. So I couldn't fail. I had to make it work for her, and in the process learn and understand if this is something that I wanted to do.
And I feel with that mentality of not being able to fail also pushed you and motivated you a little bit more to make this work, right? And now what's your mom's reaction now?
Back then I actually failed. It didn't work out. But I had to do it again and on my own terms, and I had to, you know, just find a way to correct the wrongs that I did. Because as much as I read so much on property, I thought I'd known, but I actually understood that the theory part of it is nothing like the practical. Actually doing it is not as easy as everybody that writes about it says. So it was a shift. I had to shift my thinking. I had to change my mindset in terms of looking at ways forward. When I started doing it for myself, I had the experience, not a lot of experience, but I knew that now I have to start doing it more and practice more to actually be better at it.
And we recently spoke about, because you were talking about how you did fail at first, and of course Would you agree with this statement? You can never learn enough about property.
No. I mean, in property, you think you know until you go into the next deal.
Yeah.
Once you go into a deal, you find that it's totally different from the previous one. This is something new. This is something different. And if you go in there with a one-track mind, you'll get a surprise that will just move you away from the actual
push you
goal.
off your game. Tell us about some of the surprises that you may have overcome, or some of the obstacles. Because I'm sure when you first started, what was something that you read about and you were like, okay, I'm going to make this work, and then when you got there, you were like, but it doesn't work like this.
Well, initially I thought that I buy a house, I get a tenant, they pay my bond, I take home the surplus, the cash flow. It's not like that. I think my first properties that I went into, because I had used the money for personal stuff, whenever I couldn't, so when something broke, I had to go into my own pocket to fix things, and that was really frustrating because I thought that, for the first 10 years of reading about this thing, trying to understand this property thing, and then now that I'm doing it, this thing needs a lot of money. The same money that you make, you need to make sure that this is not all mine. A part of this needs to go to maintaining this property, because you need to understand that things break, and things don't give you a warning when they break. I mean, your plumbing can just break today, and you have to have money to fix it, because a plumber costs money. Your ceiling falls, you have to get someone to actually come and fix that costs money. So there's a lot of things that you are not told in books about failures that you might have. It doesn't prepare you emotionally. I think the biggest thing that you need to be prepared for when you do it practically is the emotion side of it. There's a lot of emotions, especially because you're dealing with money, you're dealing with people. So there's a lot of emotions, and if you can't handle those emotions, you will not go into your next deal.
Were you always able to handle those emotions?
No. I think at some time, I think I wanted to check myself into a mental hospital.
Really?
Like, this is too much. I'm joking, not a mental hospital.
But it does get hectic.
But it gets hectic. It gets really, really hard, and it doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. I mean, tenants don't get better. It's just that you manage you learn how to manage tenants because of your experience. I think the more you do it, like everything in life, the more you do it, the more you actually start to it gets not easier, but you actually learn how to maintain things and to manage things, manage tenants, manage not chow all your money. Things that are
how to, and I want to get to that just in a few seconds, about how you learn to manage your money. But just before we go into that, to the viewers at home, I'd like to find out from you, were there any surprises, maybe those other property moguls out there, any surprises that you saw, that you read about, but then when you started investing in property and you made that money move and you were like, wow, this is very different to what I've researched or what I've read? Please let us know right now in the comment section below. Thank you. So yes, I was talking a little bit about how did you manage to manage your savings? How did you, because we always talk about this on the show, that we're not educated enough in being financially literate, independent, financially smart, savvy. How did you manage to teach yourself that?
I think the rule is just basic. It's you don't spend more than what you have, and it's the same with real estate. You need to make sure that if you've got cash flow for this month, I try not to use it in that month. My cash flow will only be used in the following month. I think that's how I've built a proper cushion. If anything happens, I know. I think 3 months. You need to have at least 3 months of saving. That says, what, if anything were to happen, and that just doesn't make you feel okay and safe, but it also, I think, it encourages the risk. When you know that you've got a cushion, and you know that if anything happens, I've got 3 months to make a plan. I've got 3 months I can cover expenses, and I can make a plan in 3 months. It increases your risk appetite. I think you're more likely to take more risks. You're more likely to go into the next deal if you know that if anything happens, it's going to be bad, yes, but it's not going to be as bad as me not having
so
savings.
You taught yourself how to save and how to work savvy with money.
Yeah, it was self-taught, but I had to read a lot. I had to spend time with people that had a lot of money, more money than me in most cases, and I still spend a lot of time with them. I think the one thing that makes, I think as an African child, the one thing we're afraid of talking about is money. Whenever you come across a room full of people and you start talking about money, I think people think, ooh, this one loves money, this one
has money, this one.
And that's not the case. You know, I feel like money should be a dinner table conversation. You should be able to talk to your family about money. You should be able to talk to your friends about money. And the more you talk about it, like everything else, is you get better at it. You start to understand it.
Exactly. And you're right, because earlier you said there's so much emotion attached to your property or to money. And you're right, it needs to become a dinner table conversation, because that way we get to learn from family members, from people who are eating at the same table. Let's teach each other what we know about money, because money is similar to property. You can never know enough. Something could always happen, you know. And I wanted to take it back to where you grew up, Tembisa.
Yeah.
And earlier we spoke about the lessons, you know, my hood, we spoke about the lessons that you learned growing up in Tembisa.
Yeah.
Maybe share some of that with us.
Sure. So in Tembisa, I think traditionally, most of the homeowners there, right, we would have just a 4-bedroom, not a 4-bedroom, a 2-bedroom house, a 4-room house, right, with a yard, right, and you'd have maybe a person that doesn't work. Most people there would then take that money, go buy bricks, build back rooms. And then that's their income. You know, a person will go to work, and then they know that at least I've got something that's taking care of me in case maybe I don't have a job anymore. So Tembisa teaches you a lot. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of traffic, and a lot of people need a roof over their head. So it's a market that's I feel is still untouched in what we're doing. Yes, there's a lot of rooms. Yes, there's a lot of back rooms there, but the way we're coming in now is different. We give you something that you would get in a mid-rand area. You know, I think traditionally in townships it's a 4-room. It's just a room with 4 walls. You need to bath in there. There's no bathroom. You need to make your food. You need to come with your own chest of drawer. You'll have a person having a 2-plate stove over a chest of drawer, and the wardrobe is right next to the stove. You know, it's like we saying. We make it seem like these people don't want the finer things in life. So what we're doing now is we're taking that mid-rand setup and then bringing it to the township, because you know, and we're giving it to you at an affordable price, right? And it actually it's working out great. People want to wake up in the morning and just take a shower and not share a toilet with 10 other people. People want to go home and say, I'm not going to be eating takeaways today. The unit that I live in has a stove, it's got a kitchenette, I can wash my dishes, you know. You feel a sense of pride, you know, which is good. And once you play on that, you actually realize that this is what people actually needed. The traditional system of having a room with 4 walls and a person bathing in a little skiki is what we call it. It's not working anymore.
Because we had no choice. We had no other. This is all we had.
People want more for less, and that's what we're doing, and we're giving you that at an affordable price. So Tembisa I have learned a lot from it, and I feel with the knowledge that I have, that I've gotten from there, I can actually apply that in other areas. You know, you can put me in another market in a different location. I can still do what I'm doing, because currently I'm not just in Tembisa. I've moved. You know, I've grown as I was growing. I've grown out of Tembisa, but I still do a lot of business in Tembisa, and it's interesting because you always learn something from people. The conversations you have with the tenants, the conversations you have with the rental agents, the energies. You know, it's actually quite interesting, and the only way for Tembisa to go now is up. Not just Tembisa. I think it's all townships. I mean, driving around all townships, you find that people are building, and they're not just building 4 rooms, they're not just building rooms now. People are building proper apartments in townships. And affordable apartments for our people.
And you know what adds an extra element, especially to what you're doing in Tembisa, because I know, yes, a lot of townships are developing, which we see on a daily basis, but because Tembisa is your hometown, that just adds that extra element for you, because you've achieved this thing, and I want to keep it in Tembisa, keep it in, like, you know, where we grew up, our origin, this is who we are. What are some of the lessons that you're teaching, maybe some of the youth or people around you, with regards to whether it's being financially savvy, with regards to making good investment choices? Are you educating the youth within Tembisa, or people that you speak to in Tembisa on a daily basis, maybe, about how they too can be like Hloni?
I think the teaching part should come in me showing people that it is possible. You know, you cannot give what you don't have. I cannot go to people and say, hey, go start your own property business, go do this, go into property, if I myself don't understand it. Because a person will ask questions: why property? Why should I do property? Why don't I just go to school, get a job, and then move myself out of the township? You know, you have to have conversations that the conversations that you have with the people in Tembisa should be around the day thinking that you cannot always think like this. You need to have, you know, you need to build the township. You need to get it at a better place. You know, it's a place that you need to be proud of. Whenever you say, I'm from this place, you need to be proud to say it. Don't even hesitate saying that you're from that place. So I think that's the one thing that I'm driving, the conversations. And I always talk about property, funny enough. I think we can start a normal conversation, talk about, but I always find a way to throw in property, because it's not just about young people. You've got 40-year-olds that still this person still wanted to do this 10 15 years ago, but they couldn't. They couldn't start. So I think having those conversations with them now, saying, no, you need to start. The only way to find out if this is for you is to start. So I think my conversation around that is start and then learn in the middle. And I like how you said you don't need to necessarily educate people using platforms or speaking to them, but you're a shower. So when people see that you're doing it, they also aspire to do it. So yes, we just spoke about how you show the community rather than telling, because I think it's so important that when you show that it's possible, people believe that it's possible. And now, not so much about the community, but how has investing in property benefited you and your family? As I said, it's now a dinner table conversation. I mean, I've got a 9-year-old, and we talk about property, we talk about assets, we talk about how he plans to, in the future, he's passionate about some things, but I always explain to him that you need to make sure that with your passion, you need to make sure that there's something taking care of you. So that's not just with that. If I can explain it to a 9-year-old and he can grasp that concept, I think I explain it to everyone. My sisters, my wife, of course, she's one of those people that I always talk to about real estate. She'll even tell you that this guy, like, I think you love, if these things were alive, I'd be fighting for my place in your life. But it's one of those things where, in terms of family, I think family they're also people that want to see you do it. Most people don't believe it until they actually see it, because when I started out, I failed and I got really frustrated, and family is the people that see you. It's, you can have this nice face in the streets, but when you go home in your own space, that's when you tend to, you shout, that's when they see that this thing is actually taking a toll on this person. So as it gets easier, we start talking about it. That the reason why I felt like this was because I was getting frustrated because of that. But you see, family, you need a lot of support. I think you need a lot of family support when you're going into real estate, because there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress, and there's a lot of if you're negligent, you might spend money in the wrong places. So families is very important.
And I like how you talk about your explaining real estate to your son, to your wife, to your mom, having people understand exactly where you're coming from. And another one of my questions I like to ask is about your power team. Who makes up? And you just spoke about support. We have this constantly on the show, and it just shows that this is such a reoccurring topic about the support. You cannot do anything without it. So what makes up Hloni's power team?
So my power team, I think, would be, first and foremost, are the people that help me. You need a legal team. You need a person that actually knows how to move around in terms of the law, because there's a lot of things that that happen. You need people that are going to help you register these properties. You need people that are going to help you with the lease agreements to say that how do you get yourself in and out of these lease agreements. So I think that's another important person to have on your team. The other person is a person that actually helps you with your marketing. You need someone that makes sure that your unit is not vacant for more than a month. A person that takes it out there, you know, to people that, oh guys, we've got this unit, come in, come check it, you can live here. It's a great place to live. So you need someone who's actually going to be, who knows people and can get people to come to your units. And then I think last but not least, you just need to know how to manage people. You need to know how to manage these different people in your team. Oh, and also you need people that are going to help you with your maintenance. So you need a plumber, you need people, and a reliable plumber. Let me tell you a story about my first plumbing headache. I bought a house in Tembisa. It was a nice 3-bedroom house with 4 units, with 4 back rooms. So the owner fixed it up so nice. He fixed it up really, really nice. I went there. Wow, this is a great deal. I bought the house. The first month saw positive cash flow. Wow, this is great. I'm actually going to be doing this. This was my first house. And then second month cash flow, and I was using this money. And then the third month I had a plumbing issue. This was a beautiful house, but then I had a plumbing issue in the main house. I had to call a plumber. This guy came, he charged me what he charged me. I went for the cheapest one. Right, he charged me what he charged me. I was happy. Right, the same day as he left, midnight, I got a call from a tenant. The same plumbing issue that you had is continuing. I called the guy, he's not answering. I was like, maybe he's sleeping. Let's try him again in the morning. I call him, he's like, I did what I had to do. That's your house, see what you do. I had to go and get a reliable plumber to do a good job, and then I had to pay double because this one was more expensive. However, I think I have a relationship with the guy now. I trust him, and whenever I can call him at any time, 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I've got a plumbing issue. So I feel like you need to make those connections.
We all tend to learn the hard way because we all, I mean, when you have maintenance issues or trying to renovate, we all go for the cheapest one because I mean we want our property to look great, but we also don't want to spend too much. But then I think what you've just, and it's living proof that I think the more you put into your house, the more you get out of your house. And
understanding that not all that you see is actually what you're gonna get. I think it's one thing with that experience. I feel when I go into a deal, I don't just go alone. I go with people that have more experience in terms of property investing. I go with people that I go with a plumber and I go with a builder that helps me out with my maintenance. Those people will see problems, will see issues that in a house that you will never see. So I feel now with that experience, that's what I always take. And I'm glad for it. It was painful. I learned the hard way, but I'm glad I learned when I started. That this is it wasn't as easy when I started, but I'm glad I did. I learned then and not now.
Let's talk about some of the rewards, because we've spoken a lot about the complications that comes with property, the obstacles. What are some of the rewards that you're sitting with today?
I think the biggest reward, let's not lie to ourselves, is the cash flow. I mean, having more money at the end of your month is good for anyone. Whether you're making $1 million or whether you're making 10,000 or 5,000. I feel what I've realized now is I'm getting the cash flow, not that I've always wanted, but I'm seeing a positive cash flow month on month, and I'm getting more experience, I'm getting more exposure, I'm being exposed to the right people. The likes of you, who would have thought I would have been sitting in private property doing an interview, So I think the more you do it, the more you get experience, the more you get exposed, and the more you grow. And you're actually practicing with every deal is different. It's really different. You will not get the same deal where it was like the previous one. In every deal you learn something new, you grow in those deals.
Exactly. And to take those lessons and to apply it to the next deal.
And to teach the next generation.
On the topic of generation, what is generational wealth for you? I
mean, I came from I won't say we were poor at home, but there were things that we needed. You know, yes, there was food on the table. I wouldn't say I slept on an empty stomach and all of that. No, but there's as a person, you always want more out of life, and I feel that's what I want to teach my kids. That forget this money part. You know, forget this wealth part. I'm going to teach you this, you're going to know this, but I need you to focus on yourself. I need you to focus on your passion. And you can't ask a kid that's trying to get out of poverty to focus on passion. That person needs to focus. I think for me and my family and the people that are coming after me, I think I'm the one that's going to make it easy for the ones that follow me, you know.
To focus on their passion.
Get the wealth, get the generational wealth, teach them, and then let them focus on I mean, if you've got money coming in and you're making it while you sleep, why not focus on your own passion?
Exactly, because it's really difficult to focus on your passion. And I mean, even starting varsity, when you ask like for advice on what to study, they're like, oh, what are you passionate about?
Yeah, I mean, passion does not pay the bills.
It doesn't.
And if you get, I mean, if you're not worried about money, you can then focus on whatever it is that you want to focus on.
I think also if you've got like a business kind of mindset, you could then make your passion generate income. You can then create or use your passion in such a way that you can now pay the bills. But before you can do that, you also need to be business inclined and get this advice and understand what people are doing in these different faculties, because we teach each other, right? And on that note of getting advice and being advised, what was the best piece of advice you were ever given?
The best piece of advice I was given was actually from a friend. This friend of mine, he said to me, I think he's been in real estate way before me, and he said, real estate is not easy, but if you stick in it long enough, you'll see that it's worth it. And I think every time I go into a deal, I know that this is going to be hard, but if I stick it through, it'll be worth it. And I think that's what every person, if you're starting now, just know that it's not going to be as easy. You might be the one of the lucky few who's got people that are guiding you, and so you don't just go in there blind. But if you go in there blind, there's a lot. There's a lot of walls to get over. There's a lot you're gonna learn. But if you are focused and you are determined, you can make it work, and it's great.
Exactly.
The benefits
because you spoke extensively about a lot of the things a lot of the failures or mistakes that you've made, right? But now, what has been your biggest accomplishment? You spoke about opening and closing a lot of deals. So within those deals, what has been your biggest accomplishment?
My biggest accomplishment was getting my first cash flowing property, and it was my third one. I think I told you about the beautiful house that I bought in Tembisa that had 4 bedrooms. That room was that property was a money pit. So at first it looked, I made profit the first 2-3 months, and then 4th month everything just went downhill. Things started breaking, and I mean serious things. I had to fix walls, I had to paint walls, and at the time I didn't, you know tenants, when they move out, when you get a new person, you need to make sure that place is beautiful. And those are things that I hadn't even thought about. So I think my biggest accomplishment was getting over all of that and getting a property that gives me cash flow, that takes care of itself, it maintains itself, doesn't need me to be there, I think that was my biggest, and it's actually my biggest drive, that if I can do this with a property that gives me X amount, I think I can. The sky is the limit.
100%. And to have that mindset of that the sky is the limit and that you can always achieve more. And even if the next property is also just a money pit, the one after that could be again another cash flowing property, right? And I think that it's very difficult, or you're in a situation where, yes, of course you have your power team, but anything could happen in this game. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is for sure and certain. And I'd like to just end it off because I think we're cut for time. If this is my bonus question, if you had to you were offered an opportunity to make a film about your life.
Yeah.
What would you title that film?
I think the title of the film will be Focus. Why I would say focus is I think I will use it as an abbreviation. Follow one course until successful.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot that I want to do. I'm not just into property, but I feel like in this course that I'm in on, this journey that I'm in now, I need to make sure that I'm an expert in it before I can move into something else. So I'm following this journey, I'm following this course, and when I feel that this I've done all I can do in this, that's when I can move to the next thing. So yeah, follow one course until successful. So my life story would be focus.
Focus. And that's exactly how we're going to wrap it up. And I think that's such a key piece of advice. We spoke about the best advice that you've been given, and constantly I'm given amazing advice on the show. And just to take that abbreviation, or to use the word focus in itself is what it is, but also focus on one course until successful. Finish and maintain and succeed in one thing, and then jump to the next. Hloni, thank you so much for being with me this evening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and I survived, guys. You know what? I didn't think I was gonna survive.
You were so nervous, but no, like I said, this is such a great space for us to share and educate one another.
Yeah, I think the one thing that actually made me survive is my passion for property and real estate. You have to have a passion for it to make it easier, and to actually, you have to have something that drives you out of the hard knocks. We've got a lot of hard knocks, so you need to have the passion for it to actually survive in it.
And another important thing that you said was about being emotionally strong. Because you're going to be broken down each and every time, and just to get up.
It'll test you.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's worth it. It'll work out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, viewers at home, thank you so much. As you know, the show is live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. and we'll see you guys again next week. Thank you for joining.